The IED blast, which in fact killed one person and injured scores in Kalamassery in Kerala during a Jehovah's Witness congregation at the Zamara International Convention Centre. This blast has left one dead and countless critically injured. Several individuals are fighting for their life in hospitals and ICUs. The pictures are the most telling factor about what really happened and what took place in the convention centre. Let's first take in a moment to absorb what has taken place and the absolute terror that struck the hearts of those at this convention centre. All right, images of death and destruction coming in from Kerala. We have just taken a look at the chilling ordeal, but let's also get a perspective of where this has taken place and a small glimpse at the convention hall as well. If you're going to look at these images, it actually tells you where Kalamassery is. It's a few minutes away from the prominent city of Kochi. And on the right hand, you can see people who are stunned and taking stock and in fact getting their bearings in order as to what really transpired. You can see that ball of fire right behind them, and there were several during the span of a few minutes. And this is exactly where Kalamassery is when we in fact look at the map of Kerala. This is the Zamara International Convention Centre, which is no stranger to having such conventions and congregations from time to time. It was a Christian gathering for a Jehovah's Witness, and that is when this particular blast or this terrorist attack allegedly took place so far. We are saying allegedly because we are yet to in fact ascertain what really and who really was responsible for what happened in Kerala. Let's now also have a detailed look at what exactly transpired. We will showcase the very first video of this blast that came out and what all can be seen amidst this chaos. This is of course the big wall that I'm going to go to and show you what we have been able to capture so far. And as you can see, there are people standing around this ball of fire, and this is perhaps the center of that blast that took place. And you can see people in fact trying to figure out, trying to see who's alive, who can be pulled out of the rubble, and who perhaps could be looking for help when this blast took place all of a sudden. And this is the center of the hall, and obviously this IED device was placed over there much in advance, and of course there are security lapses that will be evaluated, that will be in fact dealt upon, and people are going to try and figure out, the agencies, the NIA is going to try and figure out what really happened here. And as you can see, plastic chairs are strewn around, and what also appears to be scores of people who look stunned and shocked as they really are trying to figure out what just happened to them in the middle of this unfortunate blast, which has killed one person so far. 6 people, like I already said, are in the ICU. A child has also succumbed to these cowardly attacks. We are not sure how serious that child is, but we know that the child is 12 years of age and is in the ICU so far. 6 people who have been rushed to the hospitals which are in close proximity to this convention centre are believed to be in critical condition. So that means that the number of people who are going to be basically enduring the impact of this blast and lose their lives could be more than one. Major General Shashi Asthana, defence expert, with me on the program. General Asthana, a very good afternoon to you, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
So first up, your first thoughts. What came to your mind when you heard of a blast in Kerala, a state which has been, very frequently talked about, very predominantly discussed when, vulnerability to terrorists are concerned?
Firstly, my condolences to the family of the person who is no more, and we wish speedy recovery to all the injured which you mentioned in your commentary. Your question is extremely valid. When we were actually mapping what was the kind of recruitment in ISS has happened, at that point of time, a few things came up. Why is it that the cases of religious tolerance are gravitated in India more to one state? That is Kerala, a large number of them. That's one part of it. Secondly, we found the good news was that although we are the second largest Muslim population in the world, but the number of people who actually got recruited in ISS is minuscule. But if we amplify that minuscule part of it, a large number of them were from Kerala. So that raises another question mark as to what is so wrong that everything is gravitating that side. Thirdly is the case of religious intolerance. Now this has happened in Christian gathering. So I think notwithstanding, I'm sure the investigations will proceed and we will get to know as to who did it, and I'm sure appropriate actions will be taken, and people, if there are lapses, then those people will also be taken to task. But what is important is that there is a case to realize that this religious intolerance in particular region deserves attention. Secondly, when we talk of religious tolerance, now I am talking about the tolerance part of it. As a secular country, as a country with multi-religious population, there is a very crying need for this religious tolerance. We should not, there is no doubt that people do get affected by the things which are happening outside, like Israel-Hamas conflict. But notwithstanding that, the question
but General
is that
Asthana, there hasn't been tacit, there has been brazen support for Palestine and for Hamas in Kerala for public viewing and consumption.
Certainly, that is a worrying trend. See, there is the rationale and the logic says that Hamas is a terrorist organization, they must be condemned and they must be taken to task, there is no doubt about it. There is also, the second part is also true, that the force which has been used by Israel and the strategy which they have adopted to tackle Hamas is not the right one, because it is causing far too much of collateral damages, and that is a very serious concern. So many innocent people don't deserve to die. And I've also written, I must also amplify this issue, that Israel has actually firstly gone wrong in intelligence, secondly gone wrong in the methodology. Yes, you must punish the Hamas, no doubt, but the methodology is wrong. And there, I think, and very simple thing is that their leader is sitting in in Qatar. Why is it that Israel and US have not done anything to that leader, has done nothing to Qatar, and you are targeting innocent civilians? Why are you not getting after the leaders? And all those leaders are happily giving all kinds of statements. And we also know that the Qatar has given a lot of financial support also. So there is something wrong with the strategy, how to deal with it, and their objectives. So this is causing a concern. But concern doesn't mean that you create another problem in your own country. That is absurd. And therefore, what I would say is that yes, concerns is fine. Peaceful protests for innocent people being killed is also understandable in a democratic society, but taking it to a level of launching an IED attack on a particular community which you think that is causing a fair amount of damage to the innocent people, that I think will be far too long. Although we are yet to see as to what is the reason and the motive behind this blast. It may not be connected to that. That's one part of it. But apparently, as the circumstantial evidences are and the circumstantial, shall I say, mood in the globally is, this may be connected, or this may be a trigger because of the kind of things happening in Gaza Strip. Vineet.
Right. So you're absolutely right. Let me also quickly get in a perspective from Major General Rajan Kochar, senior defense expert, who's joining us on the program. General Kochar, what do you make of this? If this is connected, like General Asthana just alluded, if this is in any way connected to what's happening in Israel and Hamas, this could be a start of an extremely worrying trend.
Vineet, I think right now it's too premature to make a connection because circumstantially or prima facie, I don't think anything of that kind has emerged. But yes, if a connection does emerge, it is a cause for worry. And especially in various parts of the country. The point I am actually concerned is that in states like Kerala, where the law and order is a state subject, and the Kerala government has to ensure that its intelligence agencies function in close consonance with the national intelligence agencies. And we, time and again, it is happening here. This is not the first time a blast has taken place in Kerala. It has happened earlier also. But no kind of preventive measures have been put into place. And second important aspect is the role of the civil society I would like to bring in here. In places, in states where the civil society is vigilant, you will find these things are not happening. If somebody in my neighborhood is a suspicious character and I find that a lot of people are coming and going and a lot of material is coming and going and some IDs are being assembled in these areas, then it is my responsibility as a responsible citizen to inform the police authorities. And it has been happening in certain areas, and that is why there has been a preventive action in a number of places where the police has carried out raids just in time to ensure an incident doesn't happen. Why it is not happening in Kerala? So there is certain amount of complexity of the government in terms of giving a kind of a soft corner to these elements who possibly are their vote bank, and for any other more sort of reasons they may be having. So it is a time now, though we are a federal structure, but it is a time now we need to have a rethink on our structuring of our intelligence and counter-terrorism network in the country. That is one point which has to be addressed by the present government, if not in this term, in their next term, because in case we don't want these incidents like something happens in Israel, how are we connected in India? But in case a connection is there because of religion, then certainly.
So let me tell you that just a few hours ago there was a huge rally by the by the Muslim League in Kerala, in which leaders from the Hamas were participating. Shashi Tharoor also was a part of this congregation, and they were openly supporting what Hamas did on the October 7th. In fact, hold on to that thought, sir. I'll come back to you. Let us also take a look at the extent of the blast and the havoc it has wreaked so far. We're going to show you some images which outline what really transpired and what has the impact been so far. So if I can request my PCR to in fact cut into these images that I have in front of my screen. This is, of course, the impact of the blast. You can see these chairs narrate a story and a tale of havoc and terror as they were abandoned in a rush after the blast started to in fact to transpire one after the other. This is that image of destruction, a fire in the center of the convention hall. This perhaps also indicates and points towards the IED blast and where it was placed. People are rushing to evacuate the hall, and there were also people who were waiting to help out those who were injured. And there you see people in disbelief. These are not very clear images, but they do tell a tale of terror and sodomy, which has orchestrated in Kerala just a few hours ago. And there you can see it, people trying to save each other. And these are articles, burnt articles strewn all over. And this is the hall before the blast. And these are the images before the blast. And of course, the security apparatus was not able to detect what really happened, who were the people who were in fact responsible for placing these bombs underneath chairs and amidst people before they could sit in and take part in this particular congregation. All right, General Asthana, coming back to you, sir. So Well, it is too early. General Kochhar is absolutely right. We are not going to jump the gun. But it's not too early to say that Kerala has always been a soft spot when it comes to radicalization. And the government of the day and the government of the past have not really taken this threat as seriously as they should have. If you consider 2023 alone, General Asthana, there have been at least 3 busts of people who were not only part of the ISIS organization, but were getting funding from terror organizations, including Qatar, for the past few years. That could have been or should have been a red flag to up the ante when it comes to security.
Certainly, the internal security is a matter of concern for the state government, since it is a state subject, I'm sure the responsibility also lies at the state level. Besides, in addition to the national security agencies, which also need to put in and keep that particular state under scanner. Now, I think you are absolutely right. The statistics suggest that Kerala has been complacent, and statistics also suggest that perhaps because of the vote bank politics, certain strong actions which should have been taken against the culprits and especially against the convicts, they have not been taken. And that is what encourages some other people to ensure that perhaps they could also be saved because of the same vote bank politics, etc., etc. So therefore, there is no doubt that, and we can't let it happen in our country for the simple reason because it is something which can spread too fast, and the religious sentiments sometimes they travel far too fast to be controlled. So that's one issue. Secondly, I think the society, as was being mentioned, also plays a very important role in many forms. We have seen that wherever in a country like India, if the religious harmony has to be brought in, I think the various leaders of various religious groups, also some of the clerics and some of the religious leaders, they also need to play the tune of mutual harmony in a society like India. We have seen, and there are models existing. In our armed forces, we have the models. We have got National Institute of Integration, where all the religious leaders who preach in our churches and mosques and temples, they all are put together and they all learn each other's religion, and they all propagate the sense of cooperation. Now, these are the kind of initiatives which perhaps should get into the government domain also and in the public. Armed forces present a very nice model where there is no, like as officers, we attend everybody's religious functions, all troops, all irrespective of what is my religion. This is the kind of perhaps feeling which must go in. And the worst part is that now this incident has happened, there will be inquiries, things will happen. But unfortunately, what will overtake is the politics behind this incident. And the politics will be such a dirty politics that instead of healing it up and instead of bringing the harmony between the various religious groups, the politics will try and divide and try and put them into various slots to secure their own votes. Now, this is something which is a cancer in the society. Maybe Kerala is affected a little more than some other states, and certainly this needs to be taken into account. And I think people who are governing Kerala must take that into account, and security agencies must punish till conviction. Our laws are also not too strong. Earlier, this UAPA is a slightly weak law against terrorists.
Okay.
We need stronger laws. Earlier, we had POTA with a lot of unnecessarily cribbing of political parties, and for political reasons, that was taken off and we got into a softer law. I think there is a need for our stronger laws so that the convictions are strong and people are given strong messages whenever they are caught for such activities. Vineet.
General Kochhar, is politics also to be blamed for what's happened in Kerala? And is it time that politicians are more responsible when it comes to the lives of innocent people who, for no fault of theirs, become targets of these agendas, which largely and at a macro level are related to politics?
Vineet, I tend to agree with this because politics are responsible for fanning these religious fires. It's extremely important that we select only those people who come into power who have a certain amount of basic criteria of thought, of their education, and the knowledge of their culture. But unfortunately, today in India, even a person who is behind bars and who's under a criminal investigation, he can also stand for elections and he can also win. And we have seen it happening, especially in Uttar Pradesh. So, when we have such people who are governing the country, can we expect any kind of semblance of law and order or religious unrest? It has happened in a capital like Delhi. You are aware about the Delhi riots and how it happened. So if it can happen in the capital of the country, then it can happen anywhere in the country.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.